Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Unapologetically Unstoppable, Unapologetically Women podcast. Why am I goofing that up? I don't know, but you guys know who we are. We love you. Hopefully, you love us. I'm Lori Piper, and we're here with Ann Hunter. Angie, one of our normal threesome, cannot be with us today, but we have a wonderful guest here today, Kay Miller. And Kay Miller is a soul purpose coach and Akashic Records reader. So you're going to learn more about that. She believes deeply in the unique purpose within each of us. And through her work with the Akashic Records, she provides clarity on soul intentions and divine gifts. I love that. Having navigated the mind's resistance herself, Kay is dedicated to helping women not only discover their purpose, but also dismantle subconscious blocks, paving the way for inspired action. Oh, what an introduction, Kay.
Love
Start
it.
us off.
Thank you. And thank you all so much for having me. I am honored and super excited to be here.
And we're super excited for you to be here too. So I love these topics. You know, we're all into the woo a little bit, but then there are things that we just don't know about. We just don't understand. So Akashic Records, that's coming up more and more in social media. And yeah, we'd love to know more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can start with probably what is the first question on everybody's mind is like, what is the Akashic Records, right?
And I feel like what band is signed under Akashic Records?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so there is the like, well, I can't say scientific description. There's the general description that people use, but I like to explain it more in a story. So, if you've ever heard the story growing up of when we die and you're standing at the gates of heaven and you are waiting to get in, and you're met by whether it's St. Peter, Archangel Michael, or somebody else in this, based on who's telling the story, you're they meet you there. And before the gates will open, they have this long scroll of your life, of everything done and everything left undone. And that is weighed and measured and decides whether or not you get in. Um, I think as a child hearing the story, I mean, it stayed with me. That story stayed with me. And it is a little both like terrifying and it feels like a whole lot of pressure to get life right, right? But also like, oh, so beautiful that our life matters. What we do, every intention that we set, and it matters. And we're here for a purpose. So that is like, that has really just led me in my life and everything that I do. So when I found the records, well, or rather, the records found me, and I'll explain that later. But when I started working in the records and I got more experienced and more comfortable, I started to realize that the Akashic records are that scroll. They are your soul's book of life. Every intention, every experience, everything is written into that scroll, and we are actually able to access it in this life right now. You don't have to wait until you die to know if you pass this test and see if you get in. You can actually see what it is that your soul came here to experience, to learn those life lessons, and to accomplish. So that is, yeah, that is the Akashic Records. Um, I
And I,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I love that. So I did have a session with UK.
Yes.
Absolutely loved it. And it did, like it not only told me about my life and past lives, but also helped me understand why I'm here in this lifetime. And it made so much sense that I'm supposed to experience all these different things because I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. And things just kind of jobs just kind of came to me. It was like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. Oh, well, this is kind of fun. Oh, this is kind of fun. And
Yeah.
so my life has been like that, just having the ability to travel to different places I never would have traveled to. So, yeah, and then that's why it really resonated with me.
Mhm. Yeah, it helps us to clarify why we are experiencing life the way that we are, and also helps us to give us clarity and some validation. I know we're not supposed to need external validation, but man, sometimes it's really nice to have that validation on our path to know, oh, this thing I'm feeling, it is the right direction. Um, and so yeah, it gives us some context for the experiences that we've had and what has molded us into who we are and also where we're going. And in the work that I do, I mean, every practitioner is going to be a little different. We all use our gifts in different ways. But a big part of what I do is also offering grounded next steps to help you to move in that direction, as well as helping us to dismantle all of the reasons why you can't, right? Um,
Okay, so I have a really quick question.
go.
How did all of this, how did somebody learn to do this and that this information is available and all of that?
That's a great question that I don't know all
Ooh.
the answers to. As far back as I am aware of in my studies is Edgar Casey, and the work that he did. There's also there's some others that date even further back, actually. Okay, and I wish that I had more science to be able to back up what I've seen and what I experienced and but um, we're getting there. Science is getting there, but let's see. As far as what I know, um, in the last century, we'll say, um, the records have been made more mainstream and more available to everyone, um, in order to help us in this human collective evolution that we are experiencing. I mean, we're in a big shifting time period. I mean, no one can doubt that when you turn on the news and you look outside and you see what's going on in our exterior world. Like, I mean, everything is we're at a turning point. And the more people that can access their gifts and their purpose and why they're here, then the more we are on the path collectively to create a world that is sustainable, to create a world that is loving, kind, and compassionate towards each other. And so I truly believe, like, I believe that everybody has purpose, everybody has a reason of why they're here, why they're born. And if every single one of us were living daily in that purpose, in their zone of genius, imagine what we could do. Imagine the world that we could live in. And that is my why. That is why I do what I do. I want to help create that world.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love purpose. That word is just such a good word.
It is.
beautiful. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Cool. So, Anne, any questions? Because I know you were a little bit of a skeptic, and um,
So skeptic is not the right word. I know absolutely nothing about this. So
okay.
I'm walking into this with zero expectations because I absolutely have no knowledge. But just so how do we go about learning more about the Akashic records and working with you, and what's a good takeaway after you've worked with somebody? Do they go, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea," or do they like, "This is ridiculous"? Like, what's a typical response?
Yeah. Well, generally, most people that book a call, like already, feel a little drawn to do that, to book the call. So I've not gotten any bad responses ever, which is great. Out of hundreds of readings, I honestly, that is the other part of what I love about what I do is I get off of every call with people with just really feeling uplifted. People really feel um, wow, like wow, right? It resonates for them for the most part. Yeah. Okay, so let me speak to first of all, there are several books and meditations on YouTube that can help to illuminate a little bit more on how to access the records for yourself, or it just gives some context as to what they are in an energetic sense.
Okay.
Linda Howe is the person that I usually point people to. She has tons of books on the subject, and um, she's a great person to learn from in that way. Um, but I'll speak to my experience to like when it found me. So I was a mindset coach at that time, and rapid reprogramming. I worked on it's a brain training sequence that helps us to rewire our subconscious beliefs and be able to recreate the reality around you because of those
Hmm.
beliefs, right? And also like my own spiritual practice. So my business and my spiritual practice really weren't linked in that way before. Um, so in my own spiritual practice, I don't know, somehow I came across the Akashic records, and I had no idea what they were. No idea, no clue. But I could feel my heart, my soul was saying, this is your next step. Take it. Like this is your next step. And it was the same voice that when I left teaching, I was a teacher for 14 years. And I knew that it was time to move on to a new chapter, but it took me an entire school year to come to grips with that and to actually dismantle all the things that said, well, this is crazy. You can't quit your job. What are you doing? These people are counting on you. Your family's counting on you and all these things. And I took that leap anyway. And it changed my life for the better in so many ways. So when I felt that voice saying, this is your next step, I could trust it because it already leaned to it and leaned into it once and it worked, right? So I trusted it and I signed up for a certification to learn more, learn how to do it. And I almost didn't show up for that certification. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what this is. Is this safe? What? And so I did. I showed up. And on the last practice reading during that course, it was like a weekend, a like 8 hours a day weekend kind of extensive thing. Um, on the last practice reading with a client or with a other person in the process, her question was, what can I know about my friend who passed on? And what I saw in that moment was so beyond anything. And when I say saw, I'm talking about third eye. It was so far beyond anything that I would have imagined that my mind could have put together. Um, right. So I grew up a good little Episcopalian girl, and still consider myself in that religion. And the the way that we think of God as a father figure um in the sky, and maybe a puppeteer. um but what I saw was this like vast blue mist, and imagine like being in the middle of an ocean, and how like we've heard the saying that one drop of water is the same of
Mhm.
is the same as all the water, right? So imagine that your soul is one droplet of this mist, and you're in the middle of this great big, like an ocean, but it's a mist, and there's no land in sight. And when there's a wave, all the particles wave together. It was incredible. And the immense love, like the feeling in that was so overwhelming for me. And the words that I heard in my mind were, she's returned to source. And then I saw like a door open, and um, someone walked through and heard she's moved on to her next chapter. And so it was that experience that I realized, oh, like this is real. This is something this is a true connection to universal wisdom, to the knowledge, to the wisdom of source of the universe. All the answers, right? Like I teach my daughter, she'll have these big questions. I'm like, save it for your bank of what you're gonna ask God one day. And we don't have to wait. We can ask now.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And the struggle that you were talking about, a lot of our listeners and viewers go through the same thing. In past podcasts, we've all talked about, Angie and I have all talked about we have an opportunity, but we doubt ourselves, or we want to do something and we doubt ourselves. And to feel that, in your heart and your body, getting those tingles when when you ask yourself, do I want to do this? And you get that feeling.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful confirmation, but so many people aren't in touch enough to realize that.
Yeah.
And which I hope, listeners, I hope, you're listening to this and you tap into your body a little more for answers, because your heart, your body is smarter than your brain,
Mhm.
right? It's smarter than your brain because it knows what's right for you, not what's right for your neighbor or your coworker, etc.
Right. It's that mind, the conditioning of our mind. And that's another thing that we can look at in the records is, where you're feeling that resistance. And also, yes, where you're feeling that resistance, and what it's coming from, because most times, more often than not, it's coming from our conditioning, um, and the beliefs that you grew up with, and the beliefs that you were born into, whether that is collective or in your own personal family. And those are things that we can look at and learn how to resolve when in a session and in the records. The way that that works is it's identified as to what the root is, where it's coming from. There's also past life. There's also reasons that we have resistance are also related to our past lives. And so the records help us to identify what is the root of the resistance and then give us steps to help us move forward and help us dismantle that. Sometimes it's an exercise that we can do, and sometimes it's a healing that I can facilitate for them on the call.
Well, I'm excited about this, and I am definitely going to reach out and try and learn more because I feel like the one thing in such a fast-paced world and where we can get answers to anything is we want answers to
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
and we want to feel connection. We live in close proximity to one another and maybe may go days or weeks without real connection to anybody. So talk
Mhm.
about affecting your mindset. If you can do that in, a few sessions with you and kind of figure out what's missing and why is it missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Lori, I'm assuming you're going to put all her contact information out there.
Absolutely. It will be in the description so that it's easy to get to. And like I said, I had an amazing session with Kay. And one of the questions that I asked, because I always felt really close to my dad, and I'm gonna get teary-eyed. She had me in tears several times, by the
Oh,
way. But it's that, tears are a release, right? And that remembering, and that passion, remembering the passion that you had and the connections you had. It was so totally beautiful. But I asked her, where, if my dad is around, because she was telling me about my spiritual, how did you describe it? My spiritual team that's
Mhm.
always here to help me. And I
Mhm.
asked if my dad was there too. And he was, in a different kind of way, but it was like, I knew it. I know he talks to me. So it was just it. I highly, highly recommend if this is of any interest at all to any of you, reach out to Kay. And Kay, do you offer like a, free chat or something?
I offer, well, the first step to anything is the soul purpose session, where we look at what is the soul's purpose in this lifetime, and what steps can you take to actualize it? And that is the best first step. And you can find that on the website. I do also offer a free journal, like journal prompts to help you
Okay.
get you closer to what is that thing I came here to do? What is my purpose?
Oh, I love that. I love that. And those are links that you gave me, right? To put in
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Excellent. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, Anne, anything else? Any
So many thoughts, but I don't know that I can formulate them to come up with quick questions. I'll definitely be booking a session
or
with you.
or comments? Yeah, yeah. We might have to have a follow-up after like you and maybe Angie if Angie takes
That would be
has
awesome.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
yeah,
super fun.
yeah.
Because I'm
And
guessing I'm not the only one out there that's going, a what? Like Kashi the cereal. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and I was the same way. And actually, Kay, we met on an on Purpose Woman meeting, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so on Purpose Woman Global Community, it's a great women's networking group. And I was fascinated with the Akashic records. So it was like, hey, I want to do this. And it is changing my life for the good. And, Kay, just like some of the things that you were saying, looking to your heart, looking to your soul for you make it easier for us to do that in these sessions. You
Yes.
truly do.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
and in a world too where everybody has an opinion about what we should be doing, how we
Right.
should act, all the things, we just listen and we follow, like, oh, well, that's what they say, so that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And a lot of times, going back to beliefs, we don't take the time to go, but is that what I want? Do I believe in what they're asking me to do? Is that how I want to spend my time? Is that why I always feel drained, because I'm listening to everybody else and not listening to me? So
Yeah.
I'm hoping it clears some of that up.
Yes.
That's beautiful, Anne. That really hits the nail on the head with regard to why we're stressed.
Mhm.
And judgment. There's so much judgment in the world today. So, feeding on what Anne was saying, our heart might be calling us to do, well, I'll give you an example. When I was in corporate, my heart was calling me to become a yoga teacher. Well, I didn't want to become a yoga teacher. I wanted to go through the teacher training, which I did, but I didn't tell anybody because I just knew they were going to laugh at me and I had a good relationship with my coworkers. And what was funny? I told one person, the lady who got me into yoga to begin with, I told her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can totally see you doing that." And then I told one of the other girls, same thing. And then my boss, a male boss, I told him, he's like, "I could totally see you doing that."
Yeah.
So our brain is keeping us safe and
Mhm.
telling us, oh, don't tell anybody. This when people will think you're weird, or don't do that. People will think you're weird. But they kind of see us in a better light than we see ourselves a lot of times.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question. What is this typically for women our age and our listeners' age that come to you, or do you see, I almost see younger women, and
Yeah.
men might do it too, but I almost see younger women because they seem more open to different ideas.
Yeah. Open and probably also searching. I think we come out of college and go into that first job that is expected. And then at some point, I think it's probably around 30s, 30, 40s, that we start to question, wait a minute, is this really what I want? Or not just do this because they said to, right? They said I'd be good at this. Um, so that is probably it's that questioning that is, I think, probably the best point of um, when people start to look into something like this kind of work. But yeah, to answer your question, I have mainly had women who are um late 30s all the way up to 80s.
Okay.
Wow.
Mhm.
Cool.
And
Yeah,
I'm
some of
thinking there
my
are life triggers, like maybe empty nesting or retirement or things that then suddenly you don't have that, you're not being defined by what you do anymore. And you
yeah,
have to like figure out who you are as an actual person.
yes. Yeah, and that's a hard path to walk by yourself to figure that out.
And for some reason, I don't know why, that song, what do I want? What do I really, really want? I
Oh
freaking
yeah.
sings that.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Yeah.
The Spice
I don't
Girls.
know. We just like helped some artist out there somewhere. I don't remember the song.
Exactly. Kay, did you say the Spice Girls?
Yeah, Spice Girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's what Kay does. She helps you get to know what you want, what you really, really want.
Yeah. Yeah. Because chances are you already know it. You already know it. You're just afraid to admit it.
Yeah,
And I just help you give clarity and remove the resistance so that you can step into that light a little more every day.
Well, I'm
excellent.
definitely going to book a session and I will definitely post my thoughts on what happened.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
I
Yay,
like to learn
yay,
more.
Yeah.
yay. So, any final thoughts, Kay, to close this down?
Yeah. Let's see. Trust yourself, right? I was just saying, like, chances are you already know, you're already feeling it, but oh, we hold ourselves back. Just trust the nudge to let it trust what the heart wants and what it's calling you to. And as you are ready, take one small step at a time.
I
Beautiful,
love that. I think
beautiful.
that's a perfect ending.
Yeah.
I love that too. Thank you so much, Kay. And as we said, hey, listeners, put your comments, give us some comments, let us know what you think, and definitely check out Kay. I was going to say check out Anne, check out Kay, and book some time with her. Thank you all. Thanks,
Thanks,
Kay.
Kay.
Really
Bye.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.